I believe in Gotham City. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but last week I was talking about Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale's Superman masterpiece, Superman for All Seasons. If you haven't seen it, it's probably up there right now. And this week, I want to go back to probably my favorite Batman story of all time by the same team, and that is Batman: The Long Halloween. With the DCU kicking off this summer with James Gunn's Superman, I thought it was perfect timing to talk about The Long Halloween and the influence it's had on Batman movies so far, and why I hope it serves as a major influence on everything James Gunn gets to do in Gotham City now that we're going to have so much more DC on the big screen. Now, let me say before we get started, I think the best iteration, the best version of Gotham City we've seen on the big screen is neither in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy or Matt Reeves' The Batman, but is actually in Tim Burton's Batman films. And the reason for that is because Tim Burton, actually he came along before The Long Halloween, and he borrowed more of the fantastical elements of Batman, the otherworldly elements of Batman, and he brought them to the big screen in a way that was also kind of relatable and realistic, but he didn't leave the crazy stuff behind like I think Christopher Nolan did, and like I think really Matt Reeves did too, where those movies are more like straight realistic detective movies almost. They're almost not even Batman movies. They're almost like they could be about anybody. They could be about Jim Gordon. They could be about any detective, right? Wearing a really cool costume. Whereas Tim Burton's movies are certainly Batman movies. They really play as if they're in a different world. And I think The Long Halloween has this perfect mixture of the realism of the movies we've seen with Christopher Nolan and with Matt Reeves, and the supernatural underbelly of Gotham City that I think is as important and that I think should be preserved, and that I hope James Gunn picks up on as we head into, James Gunn, of course, because he's the lead on this DCU thing, right? Not that he's going to be making Batman movies, as we head into the DCU this summer. Now, if you've never read The Long Halloween, that's okay. I'm not going to spoil the whole story for you. I am going to take you through it though and talk about different aspects of it and why I think it's such an important work. So don't worry. This may end up being a video where you learn about how cool The Long Halloween is and go out and get it for yourself. If you're a longtime fan like me, you're going to be hopefully right on the same page. So no worries if you haven't read it. The Long Halloween tells the story of the holiday killer, and it's actually that structure that the story takes, is plotted out during, by, let's say. As Superman for All Seasons is a story told over 4 seasons, The Long Halloween is told by holiday. So every chapter is another holiday, and every chapter another holiday killer killing that is being investigated by Batman and Jim Gordon and the district attorney Harvey Dent, who plays a major role in the story too, as almost like a tragic hero, an anti-hero, which is cool. You can see almost right away what Christopher Nolan got out of the book and what Matt Reeves must have got out of the book. And that is the detective element, right? And the darkness of Gotham City and the realism, the realistic characters that exist in that world. Jim Gordon is one of the few characters, I think, who is really perfect on the big screen. Gary Oldman absolutely nailed the role in Christopher Nolan's trilogy. I think that's a character that actually Frank Miller in earlier Batman stories, The Dark Knight Returns primarily, and Batman Year One, really brought to life. And I think he's such a realistic character already, such a real human being in the comics, that I think it's really easy to adapt him for the big screen. And the same goes for Harvey Dent. You can see Harvey Dent in The Long Halloween, and you can see how clear that depiction is on the big screen in the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. But where I think Christopher Nolan's trilogy kind of leaves more to be desired is on the supernatural side of things. The Long Halloween, of course, is a crime story, right? It's a mystery, it's a noir, where you have these like three heroes all pushing the boundaries of the law in their investigation of uncovering this killer, right? This unknown holiday killer who strikes every holiday. The usual suspects, of course, are the mafia, the Falcone crime family and the Maroni crime family, because of their intense rivalry and their fight over the criminal underworld of Gotham City. But you also have the supernatural villainry that Batman is regularly, tangling with on the rooftops and in the sewers and in the underground and behind closed doors, I don't know if that's the right expression, of Gotham City. Chief among them, the Joker. The Joker is a villain we've seen tons of on the big screen, and we've seen all kinds of actors play him, from the incredible Jack Nicholson to Heath Ledger to Jared Leto, right? To who else was there that played the Joker? Let me think, top of my head. Well, Mark Hamill did an awesome job as the voice of the Joker, I'll say that. Regardless of who has or hasn't played the Joker of The Long Halloween is unlike any Joker we've ever seen on the big screen, and that's because he can't exist in real life. Each and every one of the modern Batman directors, your Matt Reeves, your Christopher Nolan, have taken the most realistic aspects of Batman and the most realistic aspects of The Long Halloween. It's right here in front of me, that's why I keep pointing to it. And they've brought those realistic elements to the big screen. But they've left behind the most supernatural, otherworldly elements of Gotham City. And remember, it's Gotham City, not New York City. As much as it feels like it might be New York City, it is another world. And it's another world that you're taken to in The Long Halloween, where Gotham City is a place you can't go. And I really appreciate that escape from reality into the mean streets of Gotham City. But it doesn't just stop there with the Joker. While, the Joker has this maniacal, giant tooth, freak look on his face the entire book. Okay, there's this one incredible panel where Harvey Dent comes home, it's Christmas, and the Joker, like the Grinch, is under his Christmas tree with this insane look on his face. Dude, if they were able to pull that off in a film, that would be a Gotham City that I would like to see. And that's the difference. What you can do in a comic book and what Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale were able to do in The Long Halloween is beyond, in my opinion, what we can actually accomplish on the big screen and make it any good. So that's why I think The Long Halloween is not only has it been influential, I hope it continues to be, and I hope we strive as filmmakers, as if I'm involved, in making our Batman, in making our DCU that good. But it doesn't stop with the Joker. There are other villains throughout the book, usual suspect type villains that are as supernatural, beyond reality as the Joker is. For instance, Poison Ivy plays a really cool role on St. Patrick's Day. We've seen her on the big screen before, and it was underwhelming, let's say. Two-Face is incredible in it. Once there gets to be a Two-Face. Okay, maybe that's a spoiler. Maybe we'll cut that out. Solomon Grundy, guys. Solomon Grundy, what a weirdo character. If you don't know Solomon Grundy, if you're not that big of a Batman fan, if you haven't dove into any, big Batman stories before, Solomon Grundy is this friggin' monster that lives in the sewers underneath Gotham City. He's like a hulking monster. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, lives in the sewers all alone, this total freak show. He's not particularly malicious. But just the fact that there is a massive dude living under the sewers, inside the sewers of Gotham City, this rhyming freak, that's incredible. Okay, where we saw a little bit of this? And I don't know if I mentioned it already because I can't remember, but the Tim Burton movies in the old days, 1989's Batman, and then I think it was 1991, Batman Returns. Those movies, Tim Burton did a really good job bringing the fantastical elements of Gotham City to the big screen. They're dated now. They're cool. But his Penguin, for example, was like a monster, right? His Catwoman was something a little bit different. His Joker, although it's not my favorite Joker depiction of all time, is a scarier, more monstrous, freakier Joker than I think even Heath Ledger's Joker, and certainly than Jared Leto's Joker. I don't even know who came up with that. That was, yeah, the less said, the better. My favorite two in The Long Halloween, my favorite duo, the one that I hope serves as a, real symbol of what I mean. The Scarecrow and the Mad Hatter. The Scarecrow is a character we've seen on the big screen in Dark Knight Trilogy, Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight Trilogy, played actually, I thought, really well by Cillian Murphy. And of course, we've never seen the Mad Hatter, what a strange villain, in the films before. But those two together in The Long Halloween, there's this amazing sequence where they're paid to, I can't remember, attack a bank, break villains out of Arkham Asylum. I think it was that. Break a bunch of villains out of Arkham Asylum from memory, of course. And they enter on horseback and carriage, like an old-timey villains, like Dickensian villains, right? Especially the Mad Hatter looks particularly Dickensian because of his literal mad hat, like right out of Alice in Wonderland. And Batman comes to the rescue and smashes them. And you have Batman on horseback, like wrangling those horses. Those two are so outside of the realms of human possibility. And I love, it's not cheesy at all the way it's done either in The Long Halloween. The tone is kept so like dark and noir and mysterious and interesting. It's as captivating as any Batman story there's ever been. The quest, the hunt for the holiday killer is as strong a story, a plot line as we've had in Batman. And we have these freaky Gotham City lowlife, crazies, these supervillains running around in the background and serving as like a reminder, a constant reminder to you that this is not just a detective book. This is Batman. And I think that's missing on the big screen. And I hope we see a lot more of it going forward, if possible. Who knows? Now, huge shout out has to go to Tim Sale on art. The guy was unbelievable. In Superman for All Seasons, to me, it's the best art in comics. I can't think of a better looking book than Superman for All Seasons. I wish there were more of them that looked as good as that. And I think really a lot of the greatness of the art in Superman for All Seasons has to go to Bjarne Hansen on colors, beautiful watercolors. But The Long Halloween looks as incredible. It's so good. And it's so different tonally than Superman for All Seasons. And I think a lot of the praise for the greatness of Superman for All Seasons and why it really is quintessential Batman and influential Batman is because of Tim Sale's incredible art. And that's a guy, unfortunately, we've lost. So unfortunately, these works of his stand as a testament to his greatness, and they are a real legacy that he's left behind. And finally, there's the transformation of Harvey Dent throughout the book that I think is handled so well. You can tell just seeing it, right? Like reading The Long Halloween and seeing Harvey Dent throughout the book, what starts out as like a beacon of justice for Gotham City and what becomes like a vigilante in many ways, somebody who will stop at nothing to do what needs to be done, right? I think that transformation, the humanity of that man into like mythic figure, the realism to the mythology of Gotham City, and watching someone undertake that transformation, unknowingly undertake that transformation, is amazing. And I wish there was more of that. Now, I will say, in the Nolan trilogy, you get to see Bruce Wayne go from, orphaned boy looking for answers, finding his way in the world, to becoming the Batman. And I think that is a really cool mythic transformation. But I don't really think we see it with any other character in his entire trilogy. And I don't think we see it at all in Matt Reeves' The Batman. As cool as the Riddler is, as cool as, you know, it was a fine movie. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest with you. Okay, I was gonna try to say that it was cool, but it wasn't that cool. I think that, like, the villains as mythological in Gotham City is so staggeringly cool and is what makes comic books cool. Think about it. These characters are the myths and legends of our time, right? These are the American gods, as you will, if you will. And their presence in Gotham City might as well be like the presence of our great Greek gods and Olympus or Athens, right? You can't have just a guy be the Joker, or just some criminal who's good at code be the Riddler, or just a guy with a mask and a poison, a toxin, be your Scarecrow. They're bigger than that. They're more than that. They're larger than life in many ways. And I think it's important to maintain that heading into the DCU. And I hope we see a lot more of it. So everybody, that's been The Long Halloween. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're a big, longtime Batman fan, you owe it to yourself to pick up this book. And if you're somebody who knows it really well, let me know in the comments. What do you think? Is this the most influential Batman story of all time? And do you hope to see more of the supernatural elements of Gotham City on the big screen? Anyways, it's been good. I'm Dill Comic Books. See you next week.